When this woman and her dog happen to cross paths, they start a very strange adventure. You've probably heard people say things like, "I fell in love the moment I saw him or her, ... However, have you ever given this much thought? If not, it's time to merely scratch your head and consider it. Thoughts of falling in love at first sight seem lovely, but has anyone ever heard of someone falling in love with a dog? Did the dog have the same allure as a white horse or a prince? Did the dog really cause a heart palpitation? Is that dog fortunate? Do their paths likewise stray? Or does fate have other plans for them?" Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. Ginger was born into a family of beagles in Zambia. She moved in with her family and a sibling sister after that. She resembled a miniature hound in looks and was 13 to 14 inches tall, weighing close to 20 to 30 pounds, just like a common breed of beagle. She is white and tanned, with the markings of a two-color variation beagle. Her eyes are big and gorgeous, a hazel brown color. Sarah Orton Leon is a young, intellectual, and gorgeous woman who studied at Universitat de Girona, Spain, for her undergraduate degree in biology and her postgraduate degree in primatology. She is quite interested in biology-related scientific and development themes. She finds zoology, ecology, and evolution to be fascinating. She is content with her life in Barcelona. She's been working hard on her thesis lately. In the past, Ginger worked as a guard dog in a Zambian refuge. In this specific occupation, the beagle breed dominated the workforce. She is a scent hound, a breed distinguished by its keen sense of smell and exceptional tracking ability. Because of this trait, this breed is best suited for guard dog work and is frequently used as detecting dogs. However, Ginger did not appreciate the perks of having a guard dog role. Why? Ginger used to frequently hide behind the vehicles and other items there. Because of her odd conduct, detection officers were frequently suspicious, and each time they had to locate the security dog on the premises. It was later learned that the reason Ginger was always afraid of this location was because her sister Pop was crushed by a vehicle there. She had been so terrified ever then that she would look for ways to get away from the situation. Sarah went from Barcelona to Zambia as part of a wildlife project she was working on. She cared for and saved chimpanzees for a year at a wildlife refuge in Zambia. She would wander the jungles all day, tending to the chimps. As part of her thesis, she would examine these animals' habits in great detail. That was the moment she saw Ginger for the first time, a little puppy. Sarah knew she was in love with Ginger the instant she laid eyes on her. Leon was drawn to her remarkable innocence and her beautiful brown, sparkling eyes. She could relate to her right away. "She reminded me of one of our family dogs in Barcelona," Leon remarks. "I've adored her since the beginning. Ginger was like having her family dog close by without really owning one, at least not for Sarah." Ginger fell in love with Sarah's touch the instant she walked up to give her a peck. Ginger worked as a guard dog for many years, but she had never seen charity like this. Ginger finally felt the warmth that Sarah's footsteps had given to her life. She instantly returned the affection. The fact that a simple human touch was able to unite these two animals is astonishing. Like a shadow that never leaves your side, Ginger has always looked up to Sarah for her unwavering love and care since that time. Ginger accompanied Sarah everywhere she went, never straying from her side. Sarah was taken aback by Ginger's steadfastness and shocked that she followed her everywhere. Ginger would accompany Sarah everywhere she went as she spent her days researching chimpanzees on her way to work. According to Leon, she and Ginger would have walked that path together. The commute to work would have been around 10 kilometers. Day by day, Ginger and Sarah became closer. Their relationship went well beyond that of a pet and its owner. They would play together, stroll, and explore together. Sarah always wanted to play with Ginger as soon as she was allowed to leave her job. She brought her with her everywhere she worked. They started taking advantage of their busy schedules to play together. Ginger and Sarah's love was becoming more and more intense with each second that went by. The thought of spending a day apart would make them insane. Ginger would cuddle up to Sarah every night, and Sarah would do the same. Sarah would give her a tender embrace as Ginger would lick her. They would share a bed to sleep in and wake up close to each other, holding hands. It was time for Sarah to return to Barcelona as the wildlife project came to a conclusion. Does it imply, though, that Sarah would have to bid Ginger farewell? Sarah found herself in a difficult situation. She had never made a choice with such weakness. She would think about Ginger constantly, and the thought of leaving her behind would follow her around all day. She would simply go around the room, worrying about Ginger from left to right. At last, the time had come for Sarah to depart from Zambia and travel to Barcelona. Following a week of restless nights, Sarah made a choice. Leon made the decision to continue working and leave her dear friend Ginger at the sanctuary. Ginger was a wild dog after all. She couldn't carry an African dog with herself, Sarah remarked. With deep regret, Leon said goodbye to Ginger and headed back to her village. Sarah regretfully returned home. She became very focused on finishing her research thesis and became preoccupied with her academics. Ginger would not let all of this go from her head. Even as she continued to work and write reports, she knew that Ginger would be running. Her only concerns were whether Ginger was all right, had eaten, and was going to bed on time. Ginger's situation was the same. She would always be thinking about Sarah. Her dearest buddy, a human, was no longer there to look after her. Thus, she had no one to turn to. She no longer had the smile Sarah had given her. Ginger's situation deteriorated. Some of the dogs on the sanctuary grounds were being moved since there were so many of them there, and Ginger was one of them. The agony of being separated from Ginger was too much for Sarah to handle. She answered a phone right away and made the decision to go back to Zambia to see Ginger. Sarah visited the wildlife reserve as soon as she arrived in Zambia, and it was there that she first encountered Ginger. Her excitement at meeting her beloved four-legged pal was overwhelming. All she could think about was the moment she would be giving Ginger a hug, and Ginger would be giving her back a cuddle. Searching for Ginger, Sarah hurried to the sanctuary. When she got to Ginger's kennel, she was shocked to see her missing. She appeared to be looking for her despite searching the entire area. Sarah was nervous and afraid as she wondered where Ginger had disappeared to. When she asked the authorities at the sanctuary how she was doing lately, they informed her that she had been moved to a different residence. At a mine, Ginger served as a security dog. Sarah goes to the mining site where Ginger worked as a security dog. She uses the pretext of having some dog food with her to go visit and feed the dogs. She was really concerned since, shockingly, she could discover no dogs in the area. Sarah said, "Where are the dogs?" to the man working there. And he said, "Madam, there are no dogs here." Sarah was thinking, how can there be no dogs? After hearing something that shocked her, Sarah persisted in looking for Ginger at the mine site, never giving up. She spent hours looking before finally spotting the most sought person, Ginger. At the end of the yard, she was seated beneath a vehicle. She was so terrified that she avoided giving Sarah a hug. She just raced uncontrollably toward the direction of Ginger and Cafone, but Ginger was sitting below her, perfectly still. Sarah was annoyed by Ginger's actions. Sarah knew exactly what she wanted this time, and she was ready to head to Malawi. Ginger's heart ached at the scenario. Knowing that Ginger, the lovely puppy Sarah had met a year earlier, was going through this turmoil made her very sad, but she wanted Ginger to have a better life than this one. Sarah desired to travel around Africa with Ginger after deciding to remove her from this mining site. Ginger was just taken by Sarah and put in her car. Ginger remained silent as she drove out to explore Africa with her friend by her side. She wouldn't respond to anything Sarah did. Ginger was most likely made this way by her move and the breakup with Sarah. Sarah reports that today Ginger would remain silent and would not stop staring out the window of the automobile. Ginger would have hidden beneath automobiles and trucks for a month or so since she was so afraid of Sarah. There, she found calm. But Sarah was glad that Ginger was always with her, so she could easily watch over her and make sure she was safe. Though it took her a long time to get over that period, Ginger eventually showed up to Sarah a contented dog, exactly as she had been a year before. Ginger would wrap up and cuddle with Leon, while she would playfully bark at Sarah. The dog finally regained her lost grin, although a little later. Ginger came to the realization that she was a pampered dog, as her human would transport her everywhere she went. This indicated that Ginger and Sarah were traveling by car to Africa. They would take pleasure in playing together, sharing stories, strolling and conversing, and spending the entire night together. They were reliving their lives. They still had plenty of time to spend together, and their friendship was back on track. Before long, this stray dog was becoming a travel doggo. From Malawi, they set off on their adventure. The largest lake in Africa, the Lake of Malawi, is located in Malawi. Not only are its golden sand beaches and freshwater lakes popular tourist destinations, but the lake also provides a variety of water activities. Using a paddleboard, Sarah and Ginger explored this breathtaking lake for several hours. Sarah remembers seeing the smile and happiness on Ginger's face. One of Malawi's greatest places for trekking is the Mulanje Mountains. Sarah and Ginger set out to hike through this area. Walking among those African shrubs was fun for Ginger. They would treasure being present for the sunrises and sunsets. They went camping and danced around the bonfire. Sarah was in awe of Ginger and could not stop. Other hikers in the mountains would also benefit from Ginger's company. A few of them have even reported to Sarah that Ginger's dog grins. Whoa! Ginger was content with her life and felt safe in Sarah's company. She would not run away in panic and hide behind automobiles and trucks. In any case, living as a traveling dog was far more enjoyable than working as a guard dog at a mine. They having the time of their lives on an African game safari when they spotted a group of elephants making their way toward them. "Oh my God, we're going to die," Sarah most likely said. Remarkably, though, Ginger reassured her this time, saying, "Don't worry, Mama, we'll be all right." The adventures kept coming. They were sequential. Sarah and Ginger went on lengthy road excursions, walked in different locations, climbed mountains, and explored national parks. They observed fauna from Africa, including chimpanzees. They traveled through towns and even heard the roar of African lions. But these were only the beginning of their journey filled with exciting new experiences. Everything you desire doesn't come easily, as they say. Sarah and Ginger's trip to Africa had a similar situation. Taking a dog on a trip was not an easy feat. It was really difficult to take Ginger in some regions of the continent where people were afraid of dogs. At the borders of Africa, there were obstacles since Sarah lacked the necessary documentation to confirm that Ginger was not being smuggled. Sarah had to make sure that Ginger didn't bark at other animals in the zoo while also protecting her from baboon attacks each time they were there. Sarah claims, "My heart, not myself, was the one who decided to bring Ginger along. While I would definitely do it again, I would never advise someone else who travels full-time to do the same." Do dogs really cause so much difficulty in your life? One might get sick, have to go to work, and occasionally even require solitude, but first they would need to look for a place to live for their dog. "These are just a few problems. I could tell you 1,000 more," remarks Sarah. "But having Ginger at my side was the most amazing feeling when everything returned to normal. Every issue a person encounters has an answer, and Sarah and Ginger discovered one to help overcome people's dog phobia. They went to the rural school and gave the pupils information about dogs so they wouldn't be afraid of them. Children would learn about these creatures' behavior from them, and they would even demonstrate to them that dogs aren't all that frightening or deadly." In addition to being instructive, the vacation left Ginger and Sarah with many memories. Ginger became a sensitive person as a result of the many misfortunes she had throughout her life. The loss of her sister, her split from Sarah, and the move of her house all contributed to Ginger's increased empathy for other people. She would now demand that Sarah assist any pets she sees on the streets that are in need of assistance. How lovely this dog's heart is. They are having a great time in Zambia. There, Sarah visited her friend's home and relished her free time. She didn't just go with her pal, she also had some further encounters with Ginger. They had no idea that Ginger could swim. In Zambia, Sarah and Ginger loved taking dives in the pool, and they added yet more activity to their never-ending list. Happily, Sarah is pleased with her choice to keep Ginger at her side from a year ago. With a smile on her face, Sarah gave this fearful canine a new lease on life, realizing that she had changed her own life. Sarah remarks, "I can feel the happiness in my stomach as I gaze into her sparkling eyes. I'm glad I won't be worrying about how much it will cost to travel with Ginger at that point." Sarah is overjoyed to see Ginger content. Sarah had traveled with Ginger for a year, and her family wanted her back in Barcelona. They persuaded Sarah to accompany Ginger back home. Sarah accepted without hesitation and started packing for her trip to Barcelona. She was content this time since her faithful companion was by her side. Sarah remembers that although she and Ginger have gone a long way, they still have a long way to go. A surprise awaits them in Barcelona. Barcelona's new extended family is Ginger's greatest gift. Ula and Joy are Ginger's two new acquaintances, in addition to Sarah. The family dogs of Sarah are Ula and Joy. Now, as a trio. They merely got along in a clique. They used to run about and play in the whole garden. Ginger had a completely new life, one that was full of love and happiness, and she was no longer the terrified dog at the security installations. Barcelona was a foreign land to Ginger. Here was where she had a lot to learn. She was often excited because of her curiosity in the new city. Ginger was having fun here, as Sarah put it. The massive autos, modern streets, and big skyscrapers appealed to her. She stops every 3 centimeters to smell the other dogs, adds Sarah. Ginger notices with astonishment that there is an odor all about her. Random bystanders would give Ginger hugs as they passed on the street, and Ginger would be thrilled to receive such affection. Right now, Sarah and Ginger are having a great time on their family's vacation in Barcelona. They intend to spend many months here strategizing their next travels. They both anticipate having an exciting new year. "I know it will be challenging, but it will be even better," Sarah remarks. In addition, Sarah is working on new initiatives to rescue other Symbian dogs, like Ginger, who are suffering and depressingly spending their lives. Ginger and Sarah are having an amazing time together. Many people are inspired by their narrative. Sarah sees Ginger as her entire universe, while Ginger sees no place outside of Sarah. Ginger now understands how fortunate she is to have found her rescuer and to have survived to serve as a guard dog at the refuge. Not every dog has the privilege of becoming a global traveler. We hope that Sarah and Ginger have many more experiences and a long and happy life together. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.